nuances of the budget from the experts, and how it will impact the economy, the industries, and how we adapt ourselves to take maximum benefit out of it and prepare ourselves for the times to come. And without taking much of your time, I would request Mr. Ashok Kajaria, who is chairman of FICCI Rajasthan State Council and CMD of Kajaria Ceramics Limited, for his remarks. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Atul. Good afternoon, everybody. My special welcome to Neeraj Singh ji, Regional Head, Mr. Kamar, Dr. K. Jain, my other colleagues who have joined on Zoom and YouTube. Good afternoon. I would like to extend a very warm welcome to today's virtual session on analysis of Union Budget 22-23. I have jotted few points. Rest will come out in the discussions that we have. In our opinion, the Finance Minister has presented a forward-looking and a growth-oriented budget where she has shown a roadmap for the next 1 to 2 years that the government has in mind, strengthens the drivers of long-term development, builds on last year's budget, and scores high on consistency. CapEx-led growth, I think very positive thing, energizing many of the stressed sectors, and continues the focus on simplifying the taxation policy. Few points I would like to share, which I have made note of. Emergency Credit Line Guarantee Scheme extended up to March 23, and its guarantee cover will be expanded by Indian rupees 50,000 crores to a total cover of rupees 5 lakh crores. For MSME, this was very important, and I think it's a step in the right direction. Credit Guarantee Trust for Micro and Small Enterprises scheme to be revamped and will facilitate additional credit of rupees 2 lakh crores for MSME. I think this was a much needed trust required. Outlay for capital expenditure. Now this is a big step, increased by 34% from Indian rupees 5.5 lakh crores to 7.5 lakh crores, out of which 1 lakh crore will be given to states and 6.5 lakh crores states center will do. Allocation of Indian rupees 60,000 crores to be made to Har Ghar Nal Se Jal scheme with an aim to cover 3.8 crore households. I think for Rajasthan, it will be a big beneficiary because, as we all know, Rajasthan, we have a water shortage. To facilitate domestic manufacturing of solar power, additional allocation of rupees 19,500 crores for PLI for higher efficiency modules with priority to fully integrate manufacturing units from polysilicon to solar PV modules. Again, Rajasthan is a big beneficiary along with a couple of other states. Extension of sunset for startups and new manufacturing company. As we know, startup was expiring on March 22. It has been extended to March 23. And manufacturing companies who have put up plants after 1st of October 2019, their thing was expiring on 31st of March 23, which has been extended by 1 year. Whereas we all know the income tax will be about 17.1% gross. It is 15% basic. And after adding everything, it is 17.1%, which is one of the lowest in the world today. Updated ITR section 139A is proposed to be inserted to provide for furnishing of an updated ITR upon payment of additional tax within 2 years from the end of the relevant assessment year. I think it is also a step in the right direction to reduce as much litigations as possible. Issuance of e-passports using embedded chip and futuristic technology. We have to understand when it comes. Introduction of central bank digital currency and issue of digital rupee using blockchain by RBI. As we all know, cryptocurrency was a big issue. They've decided to tax it at 30%. Introduce the cryptocurrency by RBI, so which is a step in the right direction. I think with this, I leave it for the rest of the speakers to take it from here. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you for sharing the perspective and especially the industry reaction to the budget. There are a couple of elements which will definitely benefit the state of Rajasthan in times to come. And with this, we move to our next speaker, Mr. Neeraj Singh, who is Deputy Zonal Head of Jaipur Zone from Union Bank of India. A brief introduction: economics graduate and postgraduate from Punjab University, Master of Financial Management from Jamnalal Bajaj Institute of Management Studies, and a certified financial risk manager. He started his career with Punjab National Bank, later on moved to Union Bank of India, and currently motivating and guiding Union Bank Jaipur team as its Deputy Zonal Head. So, Mr. Singh, welcome. Thank you for your support, and over to you for a quick perspective from the banking side.
Thanks. Thank you, Atulji. Respected Shri Ashok Kajaria ji, Chairman FICCI Rajasthan State Council and CMD Kajaria Ceramics Limited. Shri Atul Sharma ji, Head FICCI Rajasthan State Council. Shri Sanjay Jhawar ji, Founder Chiramrit Legal LLP. Shri KL Jain ji, Honorary Secretary General Rajasthan Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Esteemed guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is my privilege to be part of this August gathering. In fact, this is the time of year where we articulate and allocate resources to actualize our vision of a prosperous nation. The Indian budget of FY 22-23 is expected to support India's growth momentum, which is clearly substantiated by latest IMF reports, where India is poised to grow at the highest rates across the globe. This budget is a responsible one. In fact, it's credible in terms of numbers, as already highlighted by Ashok ji, is a capital expenditure heavy, investment oriented, and demand generating budget. Like previous budget, the theme continues to be expansion of infra, health, and social sectors, ease of doing business, consistency, and stability in tax rates to push further digitize the economy. All this will facilitate the overall growth. The substantial increase in expenditure for creation of infrastructure, focus on affordable housing, welfare and development of MSMEs, and farm economy will certainly prepare India for the next phase of growth. In fact, the proposal of infra could result into another UPI movement of infrastructure, which is already highlighted by many of the experts, in a way making it seamless and reducing the cost of transactions. As advised by Atulji, from the bank's perspective, the new business opportunities and enterprise that will come up due to all these projects will certainly help banking sector. Today, the banks are in fact better capitalized to support the growth momentum and industry demand. A confident banking industry is better placed to accelerate the growth. The extension in timeline and increased outlay towards emergency credit linked guarantee scheme and additional infusion of funds in credit guarantee trust for micro and small enterprises will provide much relief to MSMEs, especially those engaged in the contact-intensive sectors. In fact, this is one sector which has still to come out from the pre-COVID levels. And the significant additional allocation of rupees 48,000 crore through PM Awas Yojana will definitely boost demand for affordable housing, which in turn will increase also demand for the housing finance. The announcement to expand the scope for digital banking along with setting up of 75 digital banking units will provide further boost to technology, innovation and digital banking solutions, thereby addressing the overall evolving consumer expectations and growing need for hyper-personalized products and services. In fact, the banks have already initiated steps and strengthened digital banking to ensure delightful experience for our customers. At Union Bank, we have implemented Union Dial, which is a digitally enabled doorstep facilitation for initiation of retail loans. Customer can simply give a call or send an SMS showing interest for retail product, and our representative will assist them for seamless experience. I understand from the Rajasthan, there was a demand for gems and jewelry industry in particularly. And in fact, in this budget, a commitment has been made by the government for simplified regulatory framework, which shall be implemented by June this year. Along with this, to give boost to this sector, custom duty has been already reduced for the cut and polished diamonds, and gemstones has been reduced to 5%. Also, steps have been taken to disincentivize import for undervalued imitation jewelry. In fact, our bank also established various MSME first branches, which are dedicated for MSMEs. For the exporters, we have a gold card scheme. In fact, we have complete bouquet of schemes to facilitate growth of industry in Rajasthan. Overall, budget is positive from a growth standpoint and will surely help in creating a multiplier impact to boost the overall economic growth trajectory. In fact, this is the right time to accelerate. This is the right time for investment. Thank you very much. Let us strengthen our relationship. Like all of you, I'm eagerly looking forward to the keynote address. Thanks a lot. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Singh, for sharing the perspective of the banking sector and its response to the budget announcements. And now we have our keynote speaker, Mr. Sanjay Jhawar, who is founder of Chiramrit Legal LLP. And a brief introduction, a lawyer by profession, a qualified chartered accountant. Mr. Sanjay Jhawar is founder and was a managing partner of Chiramrit Legal LLP with an experience of over 30 years in the field of commercial and business laws. He has been recently conferred the honor of senior advocate by the Honorable Rajasthan High Court on 24th of January 2022. So our congratulations, Mr. Jhawar. And prior to founding Chair Amrit in 2002, he was senior partner at Messrs. Kalani and Company, Jaipur, a leading chartered accountant firm in Rajasthan. He is Masters of Law from globally renowned Columbia University in New York in global business laws, and he has also done a course on international commercial arbitration from ICADR, Nalsar, Hyderabad. And he he has successfully litigated on domestic and international taxation, commercial laws, and transfer pricing before tax tribunals, high courts, and the Supreme Court, and has several landmark judgments to his credit. Additionally, with this, his expertise in taxation, foreign investment, merger and acquisition, banking and securitization, competition laws, and real estate, he has advised various family businesses, corporate clients, and structured several commercial transactions and advised on succession planning of families and businesses. And he is also experienced in domestic and international arbitration. And it goes on and on, but we welcome you, Mr. Jhawar, and over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Sharma, and good afternoon to everyone. Respected Mr. Ashok Kajaria ji, Dr. K.L. Jain Saab, my co-speaker, and Atul Sharma ji. It's my privilege to share my views on this budget. Background has been set by Mr. Kajaria and the representative of Union Bank of India. Still, there are several things, and in tax itself, although very little was highlighted during budget speech by Honorable Finance Minister, but there are several important provisions. But before coming on to tax, it is important for all of us to understand that perhaps this budget is not the budget for the year. This budget is laying down the direction for next 25 years. And the government and the finance minister is calling it Amrit Kal, as when the India would be completing 100 years of its independence. So what they want to lay down is whatever India would need at the end of these 25 years, they want to create a very strong foundation for that. And for rapid progress in that direction, they are launching the master plans like several things, including Gati Shakti master plan. So what they are doing and whatever they are doing are focused on a few key aspects. Infrastructure is one of them. Yes, they want that people and goods should take less time to reach their destination, and there should not be logistic issues in them. Time should be less, cost should be less. So they are creating a very large network of all different kind of infrastructure. You are already aware of that. Other than that, there is a large and huge focus on digital or digitization of several things. Apart from the e-passport, which has been highlighted, we have been issuing e-passport. It's not that we have not been issuing, but e-passports up till now was issued only to diplomats. Pratibha Patil, the Honorable Her Excellency, the President of India, got the e-passport in 2008 itself. But that is the red passport, which is issued to only diplomats. Now the blue passport, which is being issued to the ordinary citizens, would also be e-passport from the next year, and that is a good news. It will take lesser time in immigration and lesser time in editing and all those details. But apart from that e-passport, I would like to clarify one aspect, Ashokji. You just mentioned that now RBI would have its own cryptocurrency. I would like to mention that e-rupee is not cryptocurrency. E-rupee is not at all cryptocurrency, and we must know this, that e-rupee is neither cryptocurrency, nor it is digital asset, nor this is a wallet, nor this is e-wallet. It is not like Paytm. It's not a wallet. It is also not cryptocurrency whose value changes. E-rupee value would not change. Today it is 100 rupee, tomorrow also it will be 100 rupee. It will not be like cryptocurrency that tomorrow it will become 200 and you will have capital gain or the income. No, it is not an asset. It is currency. And therefore, what they are just doing is, because there is a lot of printing cost in rupee paper notes, and there is a lot of issues relating to fake currency. So what they would like to do is, instead of handling those issues, they would like to have tokens or the digital numbers for those notes, so you can transfer the currency through mobile phones. So unlike a wallet where you have to fill up money, this is currency itself. And we must know, country like Nigeria already has it. Country like US is under discussion since 15th of January. They have launched a discussion paper on e-dollar, and that is still in discussion, when we will be before them in launching e-rupee. In China, it was launched last year, and during Winter Olympics, it was promoted by the government like anything. But one issue came, and we all must know about that. In China, the issue was the transparency versus privacy. You know, this e-currency or e-rupee would be based on the blockchain technology. So what that would mean, that it can be tracked where from it started and where it is going, and today where it is held. It can be tracked. So people have privacy issues in China, that everyone knows that to whom you have given this amount or given this money. So government had to come forward and clarify that we will not track you. We will track only when the money is going for terrorism or for any activity against the country. Otherwise, we will not track where the money is going. So e-currency is not e-wallet. It is not crypto. Its value would not change. It would remain guaranteed by Government of India. Other than that, you will have a digital health code, and that will also be digital form. Your health records, very interestingly, government has already started softly in the month of January itself. They are softly promoting it, but it will be launched now with many modifications. And what they want, your health records, medical records, apart from you, your labs and your hospital and your doctor and your pharma companies and your insurance and service providers, all of them come on one portal. So what happens is, you are not required to give your history to another doctor. Wherever you are going, they can retrieve your history from your health record. When you go for a lab test, they update your record on that itself. You are not required to take your lab reports to your doctor or to the hospital. They can retrieve it from the record, like it is being done fantastically in UK and in South Korea. In UK, the health system is fantastic. It is better than US. So in US, it is managed by a private agency. In UK, it is managed by the government itself, where health records are with the government on a portal. So there are, apart from these, in digital initiatives, you will be having digital banks. Instead of physical banks, there will be many digital banks. You'll be having a digital university, which will be collaborating with many and would be providing much needed education in the digital era. Then apart from that, most important thing in ease of doing business 2.0 is that you would be having IT bridges between states and the center to reflect the true federalism of our country. What they are saying is, suppose you have to do business in 4 states and you are required to go and take permissions in 4 states, meet the bureaucrats of the 4 states, and all those formalities are required. They are saying that instead of that, what they will be doing, all the states will be digitized, but with the help of the states, what they'll be doing is, there'll be a central portal, and that will be bridging all the states between them, like it is being done in GST. So on the same method, on the same platform, on the same mechanism on which GST has been connected throughout the states, throughout the country, one nation, one tax. What they want to do is, they say we will make IT bridges between one state's regulation and other states' regulation, so that whenever a new business comes, it has to apply on that portal, and you fulfill all the formalities, and through that single window, you approach all the states, and everything happens through that single window. So it's not only about permissions and labor registrations and incorporations and local permissions. It is about many more things where you will not have to physically go to different states. So apart from that, through this IT bridging, what they are saying is we want to create a digitization of the land records throughout the country. So what is their ultimate aim? That if you have a land in Mumbai and you want to register that land here itself in Jaipur, you can do it, because registration department and the land record of Bombay and Rajasthan would be connected through IT bridges. This is their aim and vision. They are saying each land parcel would be having a digital code and the identification number. And all the states would be pursued to connect their stamp and registration department so that it can be one nation, one registration software which can be used for registration of any property in the country in anywhere. And ultimately, they would like to have the digital title documents for the land. So instead of like shares, where you are not required to preserve the physical share certificates, in land also you would not be required to preserve the physical land title documents. And if you have to verify the title chain documents, you can verify through the digital platform itself, and you'll have a digital title document itself. So that's their aim. That is what they want to do. That is what they are going. We must understand, you mentioned in your speech about section 139(8)(a), updated return. There are certain myths. I would like to give some clarifications on this during this time. So it is not a revised return. What they are doing, this budget is using the word nudge method everywhere. Nudging means, as you know, gently pushing someone. So instead of, they coming with a stick, what they want is they push all the citizens and taxpayers for self-compliance voluntarily. So what they're doing is, it's a kind of permanent VDIS. It is a kind of permanent voluntary disclosure scheme which they have brought. They are saying, no matter you have not disclosed any income in your return, you still have 24 months to think about it. You again think about it. We'll send you some flyers. We'll send you some details which we have about you. And you will be prompted that, instead of me coming to you for a raid or survey or anything else or scrutiny, better is that you yourself comply with that. They have already started with AIS, where they inform that what kind of information they have about you. These days, they are informing you before filing of your return that wherever you have traveled, we have the information. Whatever you have purchased, we have the information. Whatever you have sold, we have the information. Gold buying, we have the information. And now you file your return. So they want to come with more and more these kind of things where they'll be prompting the taxpayers, like the system in United Kingdom. In United Kingdom, what happens? With the scrutiny notice comes a brochure of settlement. Now, this is the scrutiny notice, but we will not like to do scrutiny. You can come forward yourself and settle the matter. So like when there is a traffic police stopping us on the road, what they say is, we are making a charge against you. But if you want to go to court, it's all right. Otherwise, we'll compound it here itself by making a challan, and you deposit the money and the matter ends here. So they would like to introduce this kind of system where they say that we have the information, and better is that you come forward yourself within 24 months. Maybe that you have filed your return. Maybe you have filed a revised return. Still, you can come forward. You can say that I want to offer more. Or every year you can do that. And of course, for the same year, you cannot do twice, but every year you can do that. And whenever your mind's, that changes, that I must offer more, you can offer more. But what you have to do is you have to pay 25% additional tax in addition to the normal tax on that, your additional income. and interest, you have to pay 25% extra because you have come late. That is okay, because you are relieved from 50 or 200% penalty. You are relieved from prosecution. So you are relieved from all those hassles. You come with that 25% if you are coming within 12 months. If you are coming after 12 months and before 24 months, then you pay 50% extra. And after 24 months, no, you cannot go, they'll come to you. So this is the kind of, what they are saying is, we want that people, we prepare people, we gently push people for voluntary compliance so that there is no hassle to them. There is no administrative cost of, causing investigations, raids and other things. But the people like the persons who have PMLA issue or Benami issue, they cannot go for an updated return. The people who have a search operation, or in whose case, in somebody else's case, there was a search and some documents relating to him was found, and the department already has that information, then they cannot go for updated return. Before department catch hold of you, if you want to go, yes, you are most welcome. You can go there with that additional tax. This is what they want to say. Apart from this, there are important provisions like the changes. I would not highlight what has already been highlighted, but there are some changes in the faceless assessment scheme, and faceless assessment scheme already has been rolled out, and there are some problems, some issues during this initial period. They will be eliminating those issues, and there are some amendments to make those changes. And now your faceless assessment would not be declared void merely because there is some procedural lapse by the departmental officer. You were talking about cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency's taxation up to 31st March 2022 is in a different manner, and people are treating it differently in their returns. Tax advisors are advising differently. All of them have different views. Please mind, this budget does not give legitimacy to cryptocurrency. They don't say. Income tax is not, Finance Act is not about making a law for giving legitimacy to dealing in cryptocurrency. They say that law would come separately. The law to deal with them, they have told, they say that this would be called virtual digital assets. This will be one kind of virtual digital asset. So for cryptocurrencies, law would be different, and present bill, which was earlier laid down, was very different, and now a different bill may come, and there may be some penal provisions, prosecutions, other things may come. They are saying income tax is not concerned with illegal income or legal income. They say if you have earned, you pay tax. So they are saying that we are not providing any legitimacy to this. What we are saying is, if you have earned from any virtual digital asset, one of which is cryptocurrency, another of which, many persons are dealing these days in paintings and other things through the digital tokens, NFTs, non-fungible tokens. There are very valuable paintings and other things which are dealt with through tokens. So they are saying for all these virtual assets, now we will be charging tax at a flat rate of 30%. And that flat rate of taxation would be without allowing any other deduction. Only the cost of acquisition of such virtual digital asset would be reduced, and no other deduction. If you are maintaining office, or you are maintaining people to study that, or you have taken an office on rent, so that deduction would not be allowed. Only the cost of virtual asset would be allowed as a deduction, and remaining would be charged at 30%. Now, if there is a loss, suppose you incur a loss in selling a virtual digital asset, then they say, forget that loss. We will not set off that loss against your other income. Neither we will allow it to carry forward to subsequent year. So they will not allow this loss to be carried forward, to be set off, to be adjusted and you have to just forget it. Apart from that, if you are gifting this virtual asset to anyone, then there is that gift tax also. That 110 income tax law taxes the amount received from persons other than relatives as gift. In that, property word is there, and that property has now been redefined to include virtual digital assets. So if cryptocurrencies have been gifted, they have to be taxed in the hands of the recipient. Please mind, there is a TDS also on virtual digital assets. There is 1% TDS. Anybody who is buying this, when he's making the payment to the seller, he has to deduct TDS. And if he has made the payment by mode other than money, then he has to ensure that the TDS amount is being deposited before the transaction is there. There are some more important amendments. They have plugged several loopholes, like Section 37(1). I'm just giving the example of few provisions in the time available to me. I know that 20 minutes are available to me. Rest of it is left for open house discussion. So 37(1) is a section where you get a deduction for all expenditure which have been incurred wholly and exclusively for the purpose of business. So hospitals and medical pharma companies and other persons, they are claiming deduction of commission paid to doctors. They are saying it is our business expenditure. We pay to the doctors, and doctors prescribe our medicines, or they refer the cases to us. So one of the matters went to Delhi High Court because the assessing officer disallowed this deduction. They're saying that this is something illegal. You cannot pay commission to the doctor. This is illegal. And in the Delhi High Court held that this would be allowable because it may be illegal for the doctor, but not illegal for the hospital. For hospital, it is a business expense. So now they have made the definition wide and clear. They say it may be illegal for the doctor. It may be violation of the Code of Conduct of Medical Council of India. It will be considered to be in breach of law for the companies or for the hospitals or for the pharma companies who are making payment of it, and it not be allowed as a deduction. Another important provision, I don't know whether you are aware of this or not, there is a provision of business perquisites. There is already there, 28(4). This is a section for business perquisites. There are companies who are offering schemes, target-based schemes to the distributors and dealers. They are saying that if you meet this target, we'll take you to Singapore for 5 days, or we'll give you gold coins, or we'll take you to Lonavala Resort, or maybe we will give you a motorcycle or maybe a car. Now, these things, what companies are doing, better than me. They are showing this as sales conference. So that for them it is not a problem, and for the businessman it is not a problem. But many a times they offer these perquisites also to the wives of the businessman, to the kids of the businessman, and they offer in kind like gold coins and motorcycle and cars. And those dealers and distributors do not offer this in their income, whereas Section 28(4) already says it is not that only employees can have perquisite. Even businessmen can have perquisite, and this is perquisite relating to business. If you have got your operation done from Dr. Trehan, and apart from his fees of rupees 1 lakh, you gift him a car because you are a wealthy person and you want to be in very good books of that doctor. That car is considered to be a business perquisite for Dr. Trehan because of exercise of the profession, he has got it, and it has to be taxed, or tax has to be offered. So what this budget does is, they say, you who are giving him that gift or giving the Singapore tickets, you have to deduct TDS at 10%. You are saying, how do I deduct? I'm giving the tickets of the car. They say, no matter, you either pay out of your own pocket or you collect from that person and give it to us, because we want to know his PAN number so that we can track him and tax that car or Singapore ticket in his hands. So these kind of plugging provisions have come in this budget. now whatever income tax searches would be there are some smart people who, what they are doing is they are taking benefit of past losses for setting off against the income discovered during income tax searches. Undisclosed income has been discovered, but they say we have unclaimed depreciation and we have past losses, so it should be set off against that and we are not required to pay any tax. Our industry was in loss and it is income of the industry, so it will be set off and there will be zero tax. Now they are saying that if some income is discovered as undisclosed income, there will be no set off which would be allowed against them. Your past losses you can carry forward and set off against the normal income, but not against these kind of undisclosed incomes which are discovered. Many of you are associated with charitable trusts and institutions. And for you, this is very important to know, there are several changes relating to charitable trusts and institutions. And after that, I'll just cover the last item, 148. There are many, more than 75 changes. I could cover only 10 changes, but that is all right. If in question and answers, the questions come about them, I'll deal with them. I'll briefly touch upon the important things in respect of trust and institutions. You all know that if a trust utilizes his income for the benefit of any of its founder or maybe trustee or maybe other related party, then there can be a consequence like taxing of that amount or denial of complete exemption or something like that. Now there is a clarity in law. They say, of course, we will not deny the exemption, total exemption, but we will tax that amount. That is one. And secondly, we will levy the penalty equivalent to the amount which has been utilized for the benefit of the founder or the trustee. And that 100% penalty would be levied for the first violation. For the second and subsequent violation, the penalty would be 200%. So that is one. Now, second is that now what they have done is, earlier, once registration was granted to the trust or institution, it could be revoked or cancelled only for two reasons. And those reasons were if trust is doing some non-genuine activity or it is not doing the activity as per its objectives. But now what they've done is they have given 6 different situations in which registration of the trust can be cancelled. And they include, other than the objective, even if you are doing charity, but it is not mentioned in your objective, it will be considered to be breach. If you have not filed the return, then there is a different consequence. But if you have, there is a breach like doing an activity, doing something beyond your objective, or doing something which is not permitted by any law in force, not the law relating to income tax, by any law in force. If you are doing any of those kind of activities, then what they say, the exemption would be cancelled or withdrawn. And the consequence of this you must know very well. That is already provided in law. It's nothing new, does not come now. Once registration of the trust or institution is cancelled, then its entire property, please mind, I'm not saying income, its entire property, fair value of its entire property is taxed at 30% under section 115 TB. So please mind, it becomes a non-trust entity, and there is a huge consequence on that. So you must take care. There is no change in this, but there is change in the list on account of which the registration can be cancelled. Now the list contains 6 items instead of 2 items. I will deal with them if the question arises. Now, section 148 or the reassessment is the last thing which I'll deal with. Now, this reassessment, all of you know that here also there were limited definition of the information on the basis of which reassessment could have been initiated. Now they have enhanced the scope of the definition of information, and now reassessment can be held in more situations than before. So that is one important thing. And second, this reassessment, as you already know, the period has been reduced to 3 years. Reassessment ordinary reassessment can be reopened. Your case can be reopened for reassessment only up to 3 years. But in situations where it is asset based and every year your escaped income is more than 50 lakhs, then it can be reopened up to 10 years. So that is the law. What change they have done, what they say that now instead of 3 years, this 10 years limit was available only when the undisclosed asset was found. Now they say we will invoke this 10 years limit when expenditure on some event or ceremony like marriage or some other thing is found. Then also we can invoke 10 years. And if books of account are found, then also we can invoke 10 years. And what they have further mentioned is that for this 50 lakh limit, suppose in a marriage, 60 lakh was spent, which is undisclosed. So this is more than 50 lakh, but this 60 lakh is split in 2 years, year 1 and year 2. So you say you cannot reopen my case because every year it is less than 50 lakh. 50 lakh से ज्यादा हो तो ही आप खोल सकते हो. पहले साल में सगाई पर 30 लाख खर्च किया, शादी पर 30 लाख खर्च किया, तो दोनों साल में 50 से कम. Now what they have done, they have introduced a provision. They say total expenditure, undisclosed expenditure should be more than 50. Once it is there, then it may be any number of years they can reopen. So that is what they have provided. So these were some important provisions, and now there are many others, but I'll deal with them if there is a question relating to them. I think I have covered my issues in the given 20 or 25 minutes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Jawar, for providing that deeper insight into the budget. Many of the provisions probably were not known to the audience here. Chairman, you would like to say something, or we?
I think great thanks to Sajay ji. A lot of insight in the finer points, which many of us are not aware. And I think whenever possible, we'll have a physical interaction with Sajay ji at the FICCI platform in Jaipur. I think I request him for that.
Definitely.
Very shortly. Yeah.
And hopefully Sanjay ji would be kind enough to address us at that platform. And to begin with, Mr. Jawar, there is a question in the chat box. Kindly explain impact of dropping of section 115 BBD. Is the question clear, sir?
I'm not clear about the question.
Okay. Now the participants can also unmute themselves and ask questions just in a brief manner. Over to the participants.
संजय जी नमस्कार, मैं सुभाष अग्रवाल. मैंने चैट बॉक्स में क्वेश्चन डाला था कि 115 BBD ये करता था इनकम टैक्स में, जो दिस ईयर ड्रॉप कर दिया इन लोगों ने. उस पे फॉरेन सब्सिडरी से अगर डिविडेंड कोई आया हुआ है, tax at the rate of 15%.
See, the reason for this is that now, that firstly, that window of subsidized rate of tax of 15% was provided. When it was initially provided, it was said that it would be provided only for a few years. And now, even otherwise, what they are saying, the reason which they are giving, they say that we want to treat the companies at par with Indian companies. So when there is a foreign company which is receiving similar kind of thing, it is being taxed at the Indian rate, which is 25% or whatever rate is applicable in that company. So there should not be a difference between Indian company and foreign company. So instead of that concessional rate of tax of 15%, now it will be normal rate of tax, whichever is applicable in your company.
Okay. But company can claim, I think, deduction under section 80M. For
80M is fine. If you are distributing dividend, then you can claim deduction under section 80M. But there will be no concessional rate of tax. You already know that before this 115 BBD also, it was taxed at 30%.
Yeah.
Now, this was concessional rate, which was first provided only for 2 years, then it was extended. Now, what they want to say is we want to treat foreign companies at par with Indian companies.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
संजय जी, एक क्वेश्चन है, एनके जैन बोल रहा हूँ. ये जो कॉर्पोरेट टैक्स पे 10 करोड़ की सीमा का एक मैसेज आया हुआ है कि कॉर्पोरेट टैक्स पे 10 करोड़ की सीमा लागू होती है, इसका क्या मतलब?
नहीं, कॉर्पोरेट टैक्स पे 10 करोड़ की सीमा नहीं है, ये कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटी चार्ज लगाया है 7% का, उस पे 10 करोड़ की सीमा है। अगर उनकी इनकम 10 करोड़ से ज्यादा होगी तो उन कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटी पर सरचार्ज 12% होगा। अगर उनकी इनकम 10 करोड़ तक है तो उन पर सरचार्ज 7% होगा। ये घटाया है सरचार्ज कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटी पर। एक तो ये कंसेशन दिया है कि सरचार्ज घटा, और दूसरा उनका जो एम लगता है कंपनीज पर, जो मैट लगता है, वैसा उन पर जो एम लगता है उसको भी 18.5 से घटा के 15 किया गया है, बिकॉज कंपनीज पर 15 लगता है।
Yeah. Any other question from the participants? You can unmute yourself and ask the question. Or you can put that in the chat box also.
So I had a question.
Yeah, please carry on.
Could you please elaborate on the provision of bonus stripping and dividend stripping a bit?
See, bonus stripping and dividend stripping, earlier there were certain things, only units were covered, but certain other instruments were not covered. So they have this time revised the scope, and they have covered the other instruments also in bonus stripping and dividend stripping, like REIT and like AIF and like business trust. In all these also there can be a planning of bonus stripping and dividend stripping. So there are a lot of AIFs by alternative investment funds by many banks and many other institutions. So अगर उसमें कोई करता है ये bonus stripping, dividend stripping, they were not covered earlier, they will be covered now.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any more question from the participant? Please, you can unmute yourself or put it in the chat box.
जैन साहब को बोल दीजिए भाई वोट ऑफ थैंक्स दे दें।
I think it's time to request Dr. K.L. Jain, who is Honorary Secretary General, Rajasthan Chamber of Commerce and Industry, for his vote of thanks. Over to you, sir.
नमस्कार। सबसे पहले तो अतुल जी आपको धन्यवाद कि आपने एक बहुत लर्नड आदमी को, जवाहर साहब को, इन सब इश्यूज पे स्पष्टीकरण देने के लिए बुलाया, और उन्होंने बहुत से इंसाइट ऐसे दिए, जैसे कजेर साहब ने सही कहा, बहुतों को पता नहीं था, बहुत से छिपे हुए, बहुत से हिडन जो मेजर्स थे उनको इन्होंने उजागर किया। तो आपको धन्यवाद। और दूसरा धन्यवाद आपको इस बात का भी, कम से कम कजरिया साहब से मुलाकात करने का आपने अवसर दिया। और सबसे बड़ा धन्यवाद हमारे जवाहर साहब को। मेरे को सौभाग्य है कि मैं सीनियर जवाहर साहब से बहुत अच्छी तरह से परिचित था, और मुझे बड़ी खुशी है कि अपने पिताजी का नाम ये रोशन कर रहे हैं, और बहुत अच्छी स्टडी इन्होंने की है और काफ़ी उपाधियाँ इन्होंने ग्रहण की है। और टैक्सेशन के मामले में आज इनका नाम है, प्रदेश में ही नहीं पूरे देश के अंदर नाम है। आपने संजय जी बहुत अच्छे तरह से इस बजट के प्रपोजल को समझा है, आपने सही कहा है। लेकिन मैं एक बात बताना चाहता हूँ, जब प्राइम मिनिस्टर नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने शपथ ग्रहण की थी पहली दफा 14 में, तो उन्होंने कहा तो मैं भ्रष्टाचार मुक्त भारत करना चाहता हूँ, और उस दिशा में हर साल कुछ न कुछ किया। और इस साल में डिजिटलाइजेशन पे जो जोर दिया है वो भी इसी बात का प्रतीक है कि भ्रष्टाचार किसी तरह से रुके। इनकम जो अनडिस्क्लोज्ड है, लोग बाग एक तरह से जैसे चाइना ने चिप लगा रखी, आदमी कहाँ से कहाँ जाता है, इन्होंने खर्चे के ऊपर या और तरह की गतिविधियों, आर्थिक गतिविधियों पे एक तरह से चिप लगाने का काम किया है, और वो आगे जाकर के इस भारत को रियल इकोनॉमी की ओर आगे बढ़ाएगा। आज भी देश के अंदर 1.40 लाख करोड़ का जीएसटी कलेक्शन हुआ है। ये हमारे में भी बिजनेसमैन को अब काफी इस दिशा में सजगता है। सकारात्मक का सोच है और धीरे धीरे आदमी आगे बढ़ रहा है। 140 करोड़ की आबादी में 6 करोड़ आदमी, मुझे मालूम है कि 2 करोड़ भी बड़ी मुश्किल से होते थे, आज 6 करोड़ आदमी, 5 करोड़ 95 लाख आदमी करीब टैक्स दे रहे हैं। एक्सपोर्ट बढ़े हैं। हमारा एग्रीकल्चर का कभी 4% का सुनते सुनते आ रहे थे 4% की जीडीपी ग्रोथ होगी, लेकिन कम से कम 3.8 तक तो पहुंचे। और इस कोविड के होते हुए भी इस बजट के अंदर न केवल थर्ड सेक्टर्स और इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर पर डेवलपमेंट किया, स्वास्थ्य के ऊपर भी, सामाजिक सेवाओं के ऊपर भी, आंगनबाड़ी के लेकर शिक्षा के स्तर के ऊपर भी, डिफेंस में भी, और आत्मनिर्भर भारत स्टार्टअप्स को बहुत मौका दिया। स्टार्टअप्स को नवयुवक जो नौकरी की तलाश में रहते हैं, उन नौकरों को न लेकर वो अपने आप स्वयं अपना धंधा करें, इस और इसको मुखातिब उन्होंने किया। और इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर में तो निसंदेह जो टारगेट उन्होंने दिए हैं और वो अचीवेबल है। आज मुझे बड़ी खुशी हुई, मैंने सुना एक कंट्री ने हमारी मेट्रो, इंडियन मेड मेट्रो खरीदी, और ये इस बात का द्योतक है कि आत्मनिर्भर भारत की ओर हम दिन पर दिन बढ़ते जा रहे हैं। इंपोर्ट घट रहा है, एक्सपोर्ट बढ़ रहा है, ये सही है। लेकिन लोग बाग हमेशा खाली एक बात ध्यान रखते हैं, जैसा कि अभी टीवी में देख रहे हैं, पार्टियां इस बात को कह रही हैं आमजन को कुछ नहीं मिला। आमजन को बहुत कुछ इसमें मिला, किसानों को सब कुछ मिला है। जैविक खेती से उनको ज्यादा कमाई होगी। गंगा के किनारे, गोदावरी के किनारे के अंदर बेल्ट में जैविक खेती का उत्पादन होगा, तो एग्रीकल्चर प्रोसेसिंग को बढ़ावा मिलेगा। तो ये बजट न केवल के इनकम टैक्स की दृष्टि से या अन्य जीएसटी के दृष्टि से देखना चाहिए, बल्कि समग्र विकास के दृष्टि से इस बजट को देखना चाहिए। और उस दिशा में हमारा ही नहीं, फिक्की के भी मैंने सर्वे देखा है, उनका बात किया, एसोचैम का भी देखा है, फिर CII का देखा, सबने इसको हेल किया। कहने वाले कह सकते हैं 2 भारत बन गए, एक गरीब भारत, एक मालदारों का भारत, 10 आदमियों की पूंजी एक तरफ और बाकी की पूंजी। अब ये तो स्लोगन्स हैं, ये चलते रहते हैं, लेकिन इन बातों को डेटरेंट न परवाह करे हुए मेरे ख्याल से ये देश का सर्वोत्तम बजट अब तक का आया हुआ है। टैक्सेशन में स्टेबिलिटी एक बहुत बड़ी बात, वरना हमेशा ऊंचा नीचा, कभी घटाया कभी बढ़ाया, कभी इसमें बहुत परिवर्तन कर दिए। उससे भी एक स्टेबिलिटी आके बिजनेसमैन को एक सहूलियत रहेगी, वो निश्चिंतता उसको रहेगी। और जो प्रोविजंस आपने बताए हैं वो स्वागत योग्य प्रोपोजल्स हैं। आपने बगैर टीका करे हुए और सही मंशा जो भारत सरकार की है इस बजट की, उसका जो विश्लेषणात्मक आपने स्वरूप दिया है, उन हिडन मेजर्स को भी आपने उजागर किया। आपको बहुत बहुत साधुवाद। और जैसा हमारे चेयरमैन साहब ने कहा, हम तो चेयरमैन साहब के ऋणी हैं। न केवल बिजनेसमैन है, ये राष्ट्रीय सोच के व्यक्ति हैं, ये राष्ट्र की सोचते हैं। अपने घर के धंधे कर्जा टाइल्स का ही नहीं सोचते। ये राजस्थान का, अभी मैं पढ़ रहा था कि राजस्थान को कुछ नहीं मिला, अरे राजस्थान को बहुत कुछ मिला है। आज मैंने सुना था वो जो ट्रेन चलने वाली बुलेट ट्रेन, उसको राजस्थान से गुजरेगी, दिल्ली अहमदाबाद का जो कॉरिडोर बनेगा वो राजस्थान से गुजरेगी। राजस्थान को पिछले साल के मुकाबले में ज्यादा रुपया मिला और रुपया मिलेगा। 1000 करोड़ 1 लाख करोड़ में से भी राजस्थान को मिलेगा। अब ये स्टेट्स के ऊपर डिपेंड करता है। ये योजनाएं जो बनाई है, इसमें इस इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर के डेवलपमेंट में कितनी सहभागिता निभाते हैं, वो बहुत कुछ डिपेंड स्टेट के ऊपर करेगा। सेंटर की योजनाएं भी, बहुत कुछ योजनाएं स्टेट के माध्यम से ही चलती हैं। तो जितनी एक्टिवनेस स्टेट्स में उसमें होगी, मेरे ख्याल से इस बजट का फायदा मिलेगा। आप सब महानुभावों को, नीरज सिंह जी का भी, आपको बैंक को बहुत अपॉर्चुनिटी है। पहले तो 3 लाख करोड़ में सैंक्शन में और डिसबर्समेंट में ज्यादा टाइम गैप रहता था, लेकिन अब वो शायद गैप मिटा है। और मैं समझता हूँ आगे अब ये जो 2 लाख करोड़ रुपए एक्स्ट्रा मिले हैं और 50,000 करोड़ मिले हैं, आप मेरे ख्याल से go to the client rather than client come to you. And I think if that way that system is adopted by the banks, I think these targets will be achieved. Not only that, the health of the industry will improve, the health of the people will improve. देखिए कोविड के अंदर मेंटल एगोनी लोगों को हुई, उसका भी मेंटल हेल्थ के बारे में इस बजट के अंदर प्रोविजन है। और डिजिटलाइजेशन अब गाँव के अंदर प्रसार, टेक्नोलॉजी, इंफॉर्मेशन टेक्नोलॉजी गाँव तक भी जाएगी। ग्रामीण, अब कहते हैं कि बहुत से गांव अब शहर बन जाएंगे, ये उस दिशा में भी कदम है। बेटर लाइफ, सोशल लाइफ उनकी भी होनी, सोसाइटल वेल्थ उनकी भी बननी चाहिए। इन सब धन्यवाद देते हुए आपको बहुत बहुत साधुवाद, धन्यवाद। और आपकी बुद्धि को, विलक्षणता को सलाम। कजरिया साहब को बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। कजरिया साहब ने सही कहा है कि वर्चुअल की जगह फिजिकल मीटिंग निकट भविष्य में रखेंगे तो मेरे ख्याल से ज्यादा लोगों को आनंद मिलेगा, ज्यादा उनको समझ आएगी। और अभी तो हमको पोस्ट बजट कमेंट भेज दें, आपसे बहुत कुछ आज इनपुट मिले हैं, वो इनपुट भी हम पोस्ट बजट के मेमोरेंडम में प्रस्तुत करेंगे। उसमें आपने जो हमारी सहायता की उसके लिए आपका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। आप सब महानुभावों का जो पार्टिसिपेट किए उन सबको धन्यवाद। प्रश्नकर्ताओं को बहुत धन्यवाद। अतुल जी, ऐसे कार्यक्रम हमेशा आप करते रहें, कजरिया साहब के दर्शन कराते रहें, तो हमें ज्यादा खुशी होगी। धन्यवाद। जय हिंद।
धन्यवाद जैन साहब, धन्यवाद।
Thank you, Jain sir. And with this, we come to the close of the virtual session. I think we need a more detailed interaction, which we'll have sometime in future.
Very shortly, Atul, very shortly.
Sure, sir. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you,
Thank you,
Mr.
everybody.
Neeraj Singh ji. Thank you, Mr. Jhawar. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you,
Jain,
sir.
and all the participants. Thank you very much.
थैंक यू, Atul। लेकिन
Thank
वो
you
जो
very much.